doing. I want you to be able to use me when I'm reading it. So later on when I come out, you won't be afraid to pray. Remember I talked about that? As we set ourselves aside and you say, who wants to pray?
Nobody wants to pray.
Who wants to?
That's not good.
Nobody minds doing the easy things. And the reason why you set yourself apart for the master's use, because when you go to do this, the master will do that. Yeah, because he'll say, Holy Ghost, bring back to her remembrance what she read about praying. We give her that confidence that she needed because she set herself apart. So I'm going to use you now. Because now my flesh don't want to pray, but my spirit will say, you set yourself apart. Watch me use you. And you get up there and start praying and be like, I didn't know I could do that. Or I'm comfortable with it. Or I really wasn't thinking. And then you know how sometimes you do something, you say, whoa, I didn't know I was supposed to do that. Because why? The master used you. You had set yourself apart. Really, and actually what you're saying is, I'm readying myself up for you to use me. So then it says, consecration, blessings, dedication, hallowing, sanctification. So you setting yourself apart, consecrating yourself for the blessings of the Lord. If he uses you, that's a blessing. If he does anything for you, that's a blessing. Dedicating yourself for him, that's a blessing. Because anytime you give God, he gives back. And we can never outgive God. Think about that. Right? And then I talked about the sanctions, the permission or approval or agreements like we're talking about today with the government, and they're canceling sanctions. When you sanctify yourself, God give you sanctions. What is a sanction? A permission, an approval, an agreement, a consent to do some of these things that you would never do. They say, you got my consent to use me. You got my consent to let the Holy Ghost use you. You got my guarantee that if you pick up that mic, I'll use you. Amen. You got my guarantee if you let me lay hands on you. If you let me use your hands or your body or your mouth to sing or whatever, I'll anoint it. That's a sanction. That's the sanctification, sanctifying myself. I'm getting rid of all the other stuff. So what is more to salvation? You just don't get saved. Saved ain't got nothing to do with us. It's just what we say, what we confess. But then there's a part that we must do, and that's sanctification. We must sanctify ourselves. And why? Because there's some sanctions that come from sanctification. He gives you permission. He gives you a guarantee that these things are going to happen. So that was quick. Anybody have any questions about that? No? Everybody's good? Okay, so Isaiah 58, 6 to 11, King James Version, is where I was last week. And this was the reason why you would fast. Simple and plain. And you guys can add to me.
Okay.
Yeah, just tell them what you got.
No, I was telling you to tell them the repair of the region and restore the fast as well. And
Well, tell
that was a
them.
good,
Yeah. So this way they can get,
no, you
because
tell them,
this is review.
I know they missed.
This is review.
Oh, you missed too.
And Denise wasn't here. I gave them to April. April, here we go. Lesson 4. Anybody else?
I have lessons for you.
Oh, the Bible study.
Oh, no, I don't have no more of those. That was just, I happened to give April and my mother because they were here.
I don't have this.
You know, okay. They were here, so they was able to get my little printed out stuff. So Isaiah 58. Let me see if I have any more of these. Isaiah 58, 6 through 11. Isaiah 58, 6 through 11. It's still on the same page. The Bible study notes. This was the reason why you fast. We really never did lesson 4 that y'all actually have in your hand. We did mostly off of the Bible study notes. Isaiah 58 is the reason why you fast. And God asked them in Isaiah. Everybody got Isaiah 58, 6 right in their hands? Looking, can see it? Yeah. Okay. Can you see it? And then it says what? What's the first thing that it says?
It's not just the fast that I have chosen.
Okay, who chose it?
Isaiah.
God.
This is the fast that God has chosen for the people. Right? So he was asking the people this question. Is this not the fast? Because people are fasting and they don't know why. And remember, what was the reason, ladies, that I said last week why we fast? Why fasting is so powerful? Anybody remember?
Break the band, break the yoke.
No.
To loose the bands of wickedness.
That's what happens when you
Keep the
fast.
people off of you,
That's what happens when you fast. But why is fasting so powerful?
so I can slay
It
them.
brings out the anointing. Is it?
So you
The
can slay them.
anointing destroys every yoke. 'Cause the anointing is in there.
Well, yeah, but why? What is it about fasting?
Oh, because it was Adam and Eve. Yeah,
They
they
were
control
taught
everything
food.
by eating the food.
You're right.
So that's why.
It was how man
Man
fell,
fell.
Ah,
by eating.
By eating.
So when you stop eating,
Yeah, do
it
something.
makes you more powerful.
Really?
Because that was the original action sin. See, the original sin was disobedience.
Right.
Yeah.
But the action of it was eating.
mm.
And boys, people eat.
Right.
Yeah.
So now people wonder, because remember
Yeah.
when you read through the book, all the time you've heard prayer, You
Yeah.
see people praying, and things don't happen. And remember, the disciples asked Jesus, well, why couldn't we do
We
it?
cast it out.
And he said, because one, ye of little faith.
Mhm.
And then second, he said, you needed fasting and praying.
Pray.
So that tells me fasting is more powerful than praying.
Right.
Because I couldn't pray it out, but I could fast it out. So it was too strong for the prayer to come out. But when I added the fasting,
Mhm.
it was more
Double
powerful.
whammy.
They took it out. So it's interesting. So that's what I told them last week. I said the reason why it's so powerful is because that was the thing that took us out. That was the actual action that took us out. The original sin was disobedience. When you ask the question, you say, oh, Adam and Eve was disobedient because God told them don't eat it.
Understood.
But
My glasses fell over.
but the action
Did it?
of sin is disobedience. It was, yeah, they way down there.
Told you.
Go way to the bottom.
Devil busy. What the heck?
They way down there.
You don't want you to read it.
He don't want you to read it,
No,
right?
you ain't supposed to be here.
You ain't supposed to be here, right?
My faith come by hearing.
Give me my glasses.
So that was that. That's
Thank you.
mhm. So that was the original. Yeah, that looked
I
down
mean,
there,
way on
it
the
looked like a
bottom.
leg missing off of him. I ain't going down there.
Oh, God,
No, they
Right
fine.
there.
no.
So, when you think about how powerful, that's what I was telling you last, and these are the reasons, Isaiah 58, 6-11 is the reason why we sin. He said, is this not the fast that I've chosen for you? That's what he chose. He said, this is the reason why I chose you to fast for all these things on this paper.
What?
Every one of them. I'm not going to go through all of them because I did this last week on
But
fasting.
yet some people fast without fasting food.
Fasting, people don't understand. A lot of people, did you know why you were fasting? Did a lot of people understand that we were fasting because that was the main reason why we fell?
No.
No.
I was fasting for health.
Most
Yeah.
people was fasting for a diet.
Diet.
They was fasting because they want God to give them some money, pay some bills, some help. And nothing was wrong with that. But that wasn't that wasn't one of the reasons, the only reasons why God had the fast. He said, is this not the fast I've chosen? I've chosen a fast for you, and I've chosen the reason why. He didn't, but notice he didn't tell you what the fast was.
Oh, yeah.
Or what the fast on? You mean?
Yeah.
What?
No,
He didn't say. He said, is this not the fast I
Because it don't
chose?
have to
He
be
told you
right.
why you do
Do
it,
it.
but he didn't tell you what the fast from.
What the fast from?
If it's not food, what would it be?
I will watch TV for 4 or 5
Yes.
days. You love TV, so is to take something away
That
from
you
you
like.
that you have, that you're addicted to, that you hard. You know, a lot of
Submit
people go and
yourself
tell them they
to-
can't
yeah.
watch TV.
True.
It
Right?
doesn't have to be food. Am I right?
True.
man?
Yeah.
That's what they
That's
say.
right. Yeah.
I think it has to be food if you're going by.
Well, if you go by the word
Word, you go by
fast, it
word.
means to
Food.
abstain from food.
Okay.
But there is other
Other
things
types
that you
of
can
fast.
fast. There's other types of fast. And I'll get into that because that's what made me come to this next lesson that we come into. And so this right here, I believe he was talking about food.
Mm-hmm.
Is this not the reason why I asked you to fast? So that you can loose the bands of wickedness. There's some things around you, some bands that people have put on you, just like a rubber band, and you can't get no further than a rubber band will let you.
Mm-hmm.
So you're wondering why that I can't get right, and I can't. Well, to fast to break it loose. You're wondering why you can't get by. You can't. You ever just say, I just don't understand why I can't do this.
Yeah.
Bands of wickedness. The bands are on you.
You could fast from people too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
So,
But how many limits before you go to?
A lot of
How
people-
many days do you? Because I couldn't think about
Depends.
that. I was thinking about that
5
yesterday.
is the minimum?
You said 3.
you can fast 3 days. The Bible has all different days.
Yeah,
You have
well,
3 in
what?
there, you have 7 in there, you have 10, you have 5.
Yeah.
You look through the Bible, they fasted for many of different reasons and
Yeah.
many of different days. So God hasn't said in this particular one, He didn't say an amount.
So you can choose an amount for yourself.
Well, it depends on what you're looking for. It depends on what you're trying to do. And you may be, and this is the reason, huh?
If it's something hard, you need a lot of days.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, more than likely. Or a couple of sessions.
Yeah.
Where you might fast this week, every Wednesday, every Wednesday, every Wednesday, every Wednesday, every Wednesday. And so you keep on going. That's just as powerful as doing the 2 days.
You mean like every Wednesday for a couple months?
Yeah. Or
How
yeah.
you want to do
For a
it?
whole year.
It could be any way you want to do it. That's why I talked about consecration first. Set yourself aside for the master's use, and the master will tell you what to give up,
That's right.
what's going to be your greatest asset. He'll tell you. No need of telling you to give up coffee and you don't drink it, but once a week.
That's true.
No need of telling you, and let's say, for instance, if you have a liking for ice cream, but you have a loving for chicken. Okay, which one you think is going to be more powerful when you give it up?
Chicken.
You got to love it for both.
Ah, she left.
So then either one works for you.
Chicken and ice cream.
Hopefully it's not both.
But do you understand where I was trying to go? You know, like when you start, you say, well, okay, Lord, I don't know if I can do this. So I'm going to just, I know I'm not that strong yet, so I'm going to give up ice cream. I could probably give up for a week. Won't bother me much, but it's still a sacrifice because I'm
Yeah.
going to want it. I'm going to fight with it. But now if I give up the chicken for a week, that's big. That's big. So now, as Denise was saying, depending on what you're looking for
Yeah.
and how much is going to determine your time, is going to determine what you give up. Sometimes it's all of it. You may have to give up everything for 24 hours and just take water.
Yeah.
That makes some people sick though.
I said depending.
You know,
Oh.
I didn't tell you to give up anything. Understand that? I said depending. Depending on who you are
Yes.
and what God says.
True.
Because if God tell you to give up,
You
You.
gotta give it up.
there you go. Because you know what? He's
Wanna
going to
give up.
sustain you. And I mean, make sure you
Yeah.
heard him.
Yeah.
I ain't talking about you think you heard him. When you get to those points where I've known people to fast on water for 40 days. Bly, y'all know Bly.
Yeah.
And I mean, he did Bly, the African guy
Yeah.
Bly, remember? And he did it.
I thought you
Yeah.
were blind.
He did it on a regular,
Yeah,
but
Pastor Bly.
nobody else could do it. But God sustained him
Yeah.
because of what?
He was okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because
The one that played a chauffeur?
no, the
No,
one
not
from
him.
AJ and remember
The
Bly
one-
from Africans from
Oh,
the
yeah.
Bronx
From
they
the
came
Bronx.
to when we first opened up Will and Women.
Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
only person I know
He
who
was
can
the
do that.
only one I know
Yeah.
that could do that.
40 days.
40
water.
days, nothing
Just
but water. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was skinny?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
skinny.
Yeah.
I mean, he was skinny.
Yeah.
And he ate though, but just for those 40 days, God would allow him to do it every year.
Every year.
But then if you think about who he was and where he came from,
That's
you
no.
understood his warfare.
Yeah.
Where you came from?
Africa.
Yeah, so that part. So what are we talking about now? Y'all done got me going from here to there.
Yeah. You said you consecrate.
Consecrating. So these were the reasons to remove the bands, to loose the bands of wickedness, to undo heavy burdens. I mean, y'all carrying heavy burdens. So I want you to go back. I'm not going over this whole thing because we did that. But the bottom line at the end, the repairer of the breach, the restorer of past to dwell in. Ultimately, that's why we fast, because we want to repair the breaches. What does that mean? We want to repair the broken stuff. We want to repair not only the broken stuff, but we want to restore the path. And what does that mean? The places that you used to go that you won't go no more because you either hate it, because you scared, or because you ran from it, fear. So so those paths that you have taken, some of the paths that we've taken, you say, I ain't going down there no more. Ain't messing with them people no more. I ain't doing that. But sometimes that's the path that you have to take. And the devil made you afraid and made you scared so that you don't go there no more.
Mhm.
Because then if you don't go down that path, your purpose won't be made.
True.
So everybody understand that? So that's what fasting was about. Fasting was abstaining from food and abstaining from TV. Everybody had a different way of looking at fasting. It actually, if you look up the word, like I said, fast, it's talking about food. But we know that other people have abstained from TV,
That's true.
work, stuff, everything. Anything that you give up is a fast. Because
That bothers you. You mean to
Yeah,
give up.
yeah. Yeah. Anything that you can give up easy, you don't need fasting. You just walk away from that, but it's got to be a burden. It's going to be a little tough.
How they fast from work?
But some people love. No.
They take time off of work.
I want to know about that.
One lady later.
She came out 10 minutes later, like, how did you from work?
Take that vacation, you just fasting.
No, let me explain to you about people. Some people love to work so much that they leave everything else to somebody else. And you working, you doing too much work is not necessary. You just keep on going to work. You working overtime. You killing it. You ain't going to church. You ain't going.
Oh, just fast on it.
Because they're addicted to work. There's people addicted to work, and there's people that love their work.
Yeah.
Say, man, as soon as I get up, I can't wait to get to work. I'm gonna be doing this. Gonna be doing that. It ain't us, but you know, I mean, I don't dislike it, but there's people that love their work so that they leave other things out.
So they lonely.
No, I'm just.
She said it love.
No, they lonely over here. This one said they lonely. No, some people love their job. Some people love their job. They're lonely. Some people love their job. So they get up in the morning and they can't wait to go to work. Y'all got jokes over here. I don't know. But anyway, see how you fast from work. That's how you do it. You're lonely. You love your job. You don't love your job. I don't know. Because some people put work in front of everything, even church. And we all guilty of that.
At one time.
At all times.
Yeah.
We all guilty of that. Because if we have to get up in the morning and go to work, we will go. We will go to church. No. And say, well, I'm going to stay home today. All of us are guilty of that.
Yeah, you do it.
No, you will go to work more than you will come to church. Everybody knows that. Let me tell y'all to come to work, church 5 days this week and see how many of y'all show up. But your work will make you.
How can you?
Sure you can.
You must have a schedule.
No.
You must have to have it on the different.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know
Yes,
what
let's be real. Yes, you
There's
can.
consequences.
There you
to
go.
work.
That's what I'm
The
trying to
church
tell
is
you.
Not,
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
not natural consequences.
You ain't got to clock in and clock out.
That's right.
So here it is. You can be on vacation a month. And you can be on vacation a month. So I'm going to make it like this so that you're not bumping your own job. And then for that 1 week, 7 days, come to church. Oh, what? Do you know the work we would have to do and the praying that we would have to do to get y'all in here for 7 days out of 30? 7 in a row? Because why? No. What I'm trying to tell you is that's why you asked me about work. Work will come before. Well, wait a minute. Is you gonna preach or am I gonna preach?
You're on fire.
She arguing about everything.
No,
I'm just trying to explain.
I understand, but I'm saying, but you could do it for a week, but you can't do it for the other 3. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you gonna tell the Lord that? But you know what? Here's the thing. This is what.
An assignment.
No assignment.
no
Let me
assignment.
tell you exactly what would happen. Monday to Friday,
Yeah.
you work.
Yeah.
The weekends, you off. If God was to say for the month, you're on vacation, but Monday to Friday, for the next 4 weeks, I want you in the church. What would be the struggle? Let's be real.
It would be a
Because you wouldn't get paid.
Yep.
You'd be like, you know what?
I'm on vacation.
I'm on vacation, and I was planning on,
Pass the bucket.
right, pastor bugging.
Yeah.
It ain't the pastor, it's the Lord. Because the pastor would be having trouble. The
Start
pastor,
praying and say, God, forgive me, I'm tired.
That's it. Yeah.
and then if God, here is what, exactly, that's what you're going to say. But then when God says, well, okay, I'll forgive you for you tired, but forgive me when I don't give you the strength to go to work. Because you put, this is what we were talking about, your work before me. See, that's what I'm talking about when I said that's why you got to consecrate yourself. I'm not saying that's what's happening. We're just explaining those things. When it comes to work, we don't bow down. We need our check. We need our, and it's really not your provider.
No.
Right.
But we go, when it comes to church, I'm kind of tired today. And I understand. Nobody understands better than me because God's so sympathetic that he didn't give me a job. He knows.
Anybody would go if they wouldn't get fired. I wouldn't go.
We're not talking about getting fired.
That's why they go.
That's not what we're talking about. It's not the question of whether you're getting fired. It's the question of you would choose to go there instead of here.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with fire, because even if you weren't going to get fired, if you weren't going to get your paycheck, you would go.
Huh?
Yeah, if they said, well, you don't have to come, but you just won't get paid, you going. But when you come to church, you don't get paid. It's not a physical. Right. So you get all those things. Yeah, but people don't see that pay.
They don't see that.
They don't see that.
So right away, anyway. But I'm just saying, these are the reasons why you consecrate yourself, because this is the reason why Christ died, because we can't do
Well,
that.
see, that's why I was good. He knew that we weren't able to do that. He knew our flesh was going to hop right on out there and say, Lord God.
Yep.
Because here's the reality is, if you don't have any consequences,
Yeah.
you won't be responsible.
Yes.
That's the bottom line.
That's not with everything.
That's with everything, yeah.
Everything, yeah.
Because see, if I don't come to church, I ain't got no consequences. But I guarantee you, if God was waiting at the door, y'all butt would be in church. It'd be like, if he was at the door on Sunday morning, like,
Oh,
I know y'all ain't sleeping after I gave y'all all this strength to go to work. Right? You know, you would be like, Lord, I'm coming. I'm coming.
That's right.
Because we don't see the tangible.
That's always it you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't see the tangible. So we understand that, and that's all the things. And so this is why you set yourself apart for the master's use.
Yes.
Because no, you don't have the strength to do it all the time. Let's be real. God knows that too. My flesh can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
My mind might want to do it. I don't think anybody gets up saying, I don't want to go to church. You get up saying, I want to go. Ooh, I'm tired. Or I want to go, but I'm lazy. Whichever one.
Yeah.
True.
So it happens to the best of us, and that's why he was on the cross and not us.
Yeah.
But those are the reasons why we fast. Lord, help me. I can't be, I work hard. I want a day off. Sometimes it ain't even that I'm tired. Lord, I done worked all week, and I got to work because you gave me the job. I give you the credit for the job. You giving me the salary. But Lord, I need some rest. What you doing? We trying to figure out what you doing. Oh, God. So anyway, does anybody have any questions? So that's why you consecrate. That's why I said set yourself aside for the master's use, so that God can tell you. Because sometimes you may be going and you don't have to go. God doesn't want you to come to church to the point where you're so tired you're really not hearing him and you're really not feeling him. He has the compassion, because remember, he came down to find out what's wrong with man. Oh, he don't know nothing about being tired. So when God puts everything together, it's 7 days a week, 24/7, eternal. So when the seat is empty, he's just saying the seat is empty. But to him, it's empty is full. It's empty is full. Because remember, there's no time to him.
Right.
So those kind of things he had to say, I got to come down and see what's wrong with him. Why they eating? Why they sleeping? Because he stay up all day and he don't eat. Interesting, right?
That's right.
At least the flesh part do eat, but the other part didn't. So those are the reasons why Isaiah 58, these are the reasons why we fast, but the ultimate reason is to repair the breach, the broken.
That's good.
When it comes down to it, every yoke. Anybody have any questions? I just want to touch that a little bit before I get to this one, because the next one is very important. This one was important too, but this was why God wanted us to fast. And then remember in the New Testament, he said, Lord, why everybody fasting and we ain't?
That's right.
Who said that?
The disciples.
Disciples.
Let me say, everybody fasting, everybody fasting, we ain't fasting. How come we ain't fasting? He said, what you fasting for? You with me? They didn't understand. Those people were fasting what? For the master's use. To get some answers from the master. What the heck you fasting for? You with me? Just ask me.
There you go.
They didn't get that though. And then they said, Lord, teach me how to pray.
Yep.
All these things that you see. And he said, Lord, help me. Why am I going through so much that I'm finished with that.
Amen.
And so Isaiah 58, that was fasting. And I spoke about this. Now we go into the next lesson. Pull lesson 5. Right? Did I pull it? Yeah, lesson 5. Anybody have any questions about the fasting? The lesson 4. The little